This is when Drake encounters his first problems in the wicked streets of Toronto. May 15th, 2009. It's a Friday night in Toronto and Drake has a night out with his beautiful date named Chantel. Together, the two ride out in the back of a Maybach on the way to a fancy restaurant. Riding high off his career success, Drake is rocking a $100,000 AP watch, an iced out chain given to him by Lil Wayne, and $4,000 cash in his pocket. Long story short, they go out to dinner, have a good time, and at 9 p.m. they hop back in the Maybach. As they await the driver to take off, boom, a handgun is pressed against Drake's window. Oh shit, one man demands that Drake roll down his window while his friend stands in front of the car armed pointed at the driver. They demand that Drake takes off his watch, his chain, and hands over everything in his pocket. So with no real choice, Drake gives up everything, including his prized Lil Wayne chain. After he gives it all up, the men spring back to their car, not knowing that Toronto police were already alerted and are just around the corner. So as soon as the robbers take off in their car, Toronto police are right on their trail. Thankfully, they're able to corner them in up the street and Drake gets everything back. While being the civilian that he is, Drake tells police exactly what happened and the two guys are arrested. Now, does this make Drake a snitch? No. No? Okay, fine. Yes, it does, but who cares? What's most important is that he wasn't hurt, he got his stuff back, and he decided to move different for the rest of his career. He was understandably shaken up by the incident, as he would tell the New York Times that I feel unsafe in Toronto at all times. On top of this, he believed that this wasn't a random or isolated incident. He believed that he was set up by a gang. My chain was tucked the entire night and I had a big coat on covering my watch. They didn't ask for anything but those two items. On top of this, my date had an expensive purse and a bunch of jewelry and they didn't ask for any of that. How the hell did they know I had a chain on and a nice watch? And most importantly, why didn't they ask for anybody else's stuff? Regardless of all that, getting robbed in your own city as the face of the city must not feel great. Not to mention that something like this could easily end a rap career. So Drake was understandably furious and he was gonna make sure that this could never happen again. He knew that he desperately needed some muscle in Toronto. In the States, he had the protection of guys like J Prince and Birdman, and in Toronto, he needed that level of street power as well, or even more. So now we enter the chapter of Drake's very first Canadian gang ties. That introduces us to a man named Nacelle Beezer, also known as Chubbs, a native of Toronto's Scarborough district. Chubbs is a big dude, and in Scarborough, he had a reputation for being a bully in the streets. While Chubbs and Drake would meet through mutual friends very early in his career, but Drake honestly thought nothing of it. He heard that Chubbs was a respected member of a local gang, but why would he need to be around something like that? Well, then comes the scary robbery incident, and Drake now knew that having goons on his side might be a good idea. So after the incident, the first person that he called was Chubbs, and just like that, they locked in. This now meant that Drake had some serious firepower in the streets, and if you don't believe me, let me introduce you to Chubbs' gang.